All right. Thank you all so much for joining us for our MS Finance Current Student Panel. During today's session, current students will share their experience in the MS Finance program and what it's like to be a student here at UB. My name is Meg. I'm the admissions advisor for the MS Finance program, and we also have Rebecca Mueller from the admissions team joining us as well to help answer any questions you may have in the chat. So if you do have questions throughout the session, please go ahead and type them in the chat and we will address them as time permits. We appreciate the questions that you've submitted during the registration process. We are recording the session and we'll share it with you all via email in 1 week. So again, thank you for joining us today and thank you so much to our current student panelists. We know you are very busy and we're so grateful to have you here to share your experiences. So I'd like to ask each of you to introduce yourselves. If you could tell us where your hometown is and what track you selected in the MSF program, that would be great.
Sure. Thank you, Megan. I'll go first. So my name is Ajmain Islam. I come from Dhaka, Bangladesh. I'm studying my MS Finance program here at UB. I am currently doing my MS Finance in the concentration of financial risk management. Before coming to UB, I had a business background. So in my bachelor's, I studied business and finance also.
Awesome. Henry, would you like to go next?
Okay. All right. Thank you. So my name is Henry Okaro. I'm currently in MS Finance, FRM FinTech. So it's called the Finance Risk Management plus FinTech option. So originally I'm from Nigeria and I had my undergrad in geological science. So, and then furthermore, I did my MBA in Nigeria before moving to UB.
Awesome. Thank you.
Can I start?
Yeah.
Okay. So I am Ajit. I'm from India and majoring in financial risk management fintech track. I did my undergrad into nanoscience and first master into sociology. So I have diverse academic as well as professional background. I have experience as a bank auditor. So this is my background, and recently won 2 competitions, startup boot camp and next level leadership mentoring conference. So that is for me.
Fantastic. Thank you all so much. All right, so let's dive into our panel questions today. So the first question we have are, what are some of your favorite classes and why?
I'll go first then. So in the finance program, I feel like it's very multifaceted. It's very the program is designed to cater to you of what you want in the program. So either you're choosing financial risk management or quantitative finance or fintech. My colleagues can speak for me that it's very different. So in my track, financial risk management, one of few of my favorite classes are management of financial institutions and international finance, investment management. So I like these courses because these courses resonate what I did in the previous times in my bachelor's and also what I want to do in the future. So I want to position myself, I want to position my finance programs in the proficiency of working for a financial institutions or working in, let's say, banking or lending. So I think yes, the courses that UB has structured for your needs is really great, and I like these courses the most, like investment management and international finance.
Okay. Thank you, Ajit, for that brief. So I think for me, my first semester, the one that appealed to me the most was the international finance management. So so the course to me was very interesting. So because it basically talked about finance in a very wide and diverse perspective. So looking at how countries do business, what's the effect of interest rate, inflation across different nations, across different stock market, And me being a Nigerian and studying the international finance management, I could see some of the issues that we're facing within our financial sector, within our exchange rate. And the course was able to bring to light some of those things, which I did not understand previously in the past. And I'm beginning to look at our own finance market in a different light. And it was very interesting. I then also enjoyed investment management. So, because this is more or less the first time I was taking core finance, and the course is really, really important in introducing people to investment decisions, understanding the stock market, understanding some of the indexes that exist in the United States, the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, and the rest. So, um, these are really great subjects and classes.
Oh, thank you, Henry. So I think database management class, as I have taken fintech, fintech track. I mostly like database management. I had taken the Arman Falati's class last semester. It was challenging as well as interesting. We had project in which we learned every aspect of database management. Also, introductory Oracle Apex. Also, for this semester, I have taken predictive analysis, which is also interesting subject. You can do data visualization using RStudio, which is very interesting to learn because data is new oil. You need to have interdisciplinary knowledge of finance as well as data. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for sharing some of your favorite classes. The next question is, how do the faculty and resources in the MS Finance program support your academic and professional development?
So yes, when we talk faculties here at UB, I have seen like there are two kind of faculties, one that comes from academia and another segment that comes from the industry directly. So we have professors who are daytime bankers and they take class at UB at 6:30. So we really exposure to the professionals and industry leaders in which they can share their perspective of what's going in the market and how the industry is performing, how the economy is performing, and they can teach that practical aspect in the classroom. If I want to mention, we have a course named Finance Academy here, take FRM track. So in that course, there is no syllabus. The professor there brings out, he's also a private equity professional. He brings professionals from each area, each industry, and they come with their practical problems that they're facing in the workplace or in the industry, and they give other tasks of solving those problems. So it's like being in a teaching position while being still in school. Other than that, I think UB has great facilities in terms of library, in terms of resources, also career resources. I think UB is more focused on achieving the success of their students, while where they hold seminars. We also have a seminar today from Finance Academy also, and we also have networking events. I remember last month we went to New York City for a networking event in New York, and we got to meet all these alumni from our school who are working in the city in different professions, different industries, and we got to network with them a lot. So I think UB cares much more about to connect getting industry experience through bringing out professors not only from academia but also from the industry.
Well, yeah. Okay, so for me, I think looking at UB, when I go to a business school, so I have certain interest in business school, and it's me being able to not just study in classroom, but also to have that real life experience and basically interface with different things, have the opportunity to do certain things that relate to business and basically developing oneself. And you could see that for School of Management, so there are a whole lot of things that are being made available to the students. So apart from the curriculum-based courses that we have to take on, so I see a lot of things that happen around the School of Management. So one is the fact that, okay, there is a Bloomberg and the Bloomberg Center that and people can basically go and take on Bloomberg courses. I did that, and then that was really fascinating because being able to understand and see how some of these platforms, some of the places where people are able to get information and trade on. And that's something that the school basically provides And then Ajmin talked about some of the resources, Finance Academy, and some of the other programs that we have to engage on that gives us the ability to interface with industry experts and maybe looking at the faculty members as well. So you could see that there is that experience from the professors that have both industry experience and classroom experience. So, and in their teaching, you can be able to see that wealth of information. So if we attend Labat's class most of the time, he talks about the old days and says, yeah, I usually make reference to the old days, but making reference to the old days is basically talking about his experience from the field and bringing it to classroom because this is what we're going to face when we go out. And I believe the School of Management does a lot. There is a collaboration from most of the projects from Blackstone, people trying to pitch for startups, to people trying to do fintech challenge, entrepreneurship challenge, technology-based challenge. So we're giving those resources to work with, and it's really great.
So, thank you, Henry. For me, I would say, as Henry mentioned about the Bloomberg Terminal, being finance student, you should be able to use Bloomberg Terminal. Also, there are many resources like newspaper subscriptions, of Financial Times, Bloomberg, Wall Street, and there is one platform if you have a product or innovative idea in business. I'm working as a venture coach, so you can book appointment with venture coaches. We have a startup and innovation collaboratory. You can use that platform to take your product or your idea further. So what we do there, we refine the idea. We help you make or decide business strategy, and we help you to do market research. So you have multiple opportunities here. I think UB has developed a perfect educational ecosystem, and you should be, you should get acquainted with all round knowledge available here. Thank you.
Thank you.
So much. The next question we have is, could you discuss any action learning or real world projects that you've undertaken as part of the MS Finance program and their impact on your learning experience?
I would like to add that before coming to UB, I worked at a private commercial bank in corporate banking division. So I was working with clients doing their international trade, international finance, and also their short-term financing. After coming to UB in the first semester, I took Professor Suchak, the director of the MS Finance program, Suchak's course, and the course was named Multinational Banking. And I was surprised to the extent that in that classroom, the projects that are given is that you are a commercial bank who are in the position of like dealing with the client. You are helping them doing their export-import business and also helping meet their short-term financing goals. And you are doing that in a case where you are acting as the banker and you have to make that active decision. So after seeing that, I realized that, okay, you classrooms are very unique in which they bring that real-world experience, that work I used to do in banks, and they turn it into a coursework or a project. It will quickly accelerate your professional endeavors and also give you a sneak peek of what the industry is like and sneak peek of the role that you might be working in the future. So in those cases, UB does and the MS Finance program does a pretty good job in putting you in that real world position and extracting the learning from that project so that you can apply or you can even talk about it when you go for an interview at that role.
Okay, yeah. So I think for me, thank you, Ajmin. So for me, I have to make reference to what I call it's actually a case study on one of the finance courses, and it is the nodal logistics and coastal Brazil. So this is basically something that has to do with taking a decision whether to invest or not to invest in a particular country. And it was making reference to a firm existing in the US having to run investment decisions and projects in Brazil. And we were asked and tasked to do some financial analysis and consider what's the best option for them to do those investments. And for me, it was an interesting topic. So because my exposure to some of the hedging techniques in finance just helped me a lot in some of my conversations currently. I made reference to the fact that I'm trying to understand the Nigerian market better. And after working on those projects, I was able to take a deeper dive at some of the probably monetary policies that are taking place in Nigeria. And when I'm now interacting with people, I'm better much informed in some of the um, reports or conversation I have to come up with. And then they just look and be like, hey, we know you're a finance student and it seems as though you're talking from wealth of knowledge, but these are knowledge that I've already acquired in the last 6 months of being a finance student in UB. And that has gone a very long way for me. And I always look forward to having those kind of engagements with the professors.
So thank you, Henry. As a fintech elective, I am learning predictive analysis in this semester. So we are working in a team on project which is related to zero emissions from vehicles. So what we are doing, we are predicting how long will it take for California to reach zero emission vehicles. Basically, it is about to reduce dependence on imported oil and enhance energy security by utilizing domestically produced electricity or renewable energy sources for charging. So this will provide a good direction to the automobile companies as well as government bodies to strategically streamline its operation in developing electronic, uh, battery related vehicles. So this is a real time. I think we get to learn, we get to work with the actual data. Uh, uh, we have many different resources to restrain that data. So I think for me, this is a real world project I'm learning now. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Those sound like some really great projects that you guys have had the chance to work on. The next question we have, so straying away from the program and talking a little bit more about what it's like to live in Buffalo. The question is, what are some of your favorite things to do around campus and in Buffalo?
So personally, my favorite thing to do around campus is go into the esports lounge. So I used to game a lot when I was in my home country, and after coming here, moving to a new country without everything, I faced like, okay, maybe I wouldn't be able to game in this professional journey I'm in or this academic journey I'm in. But then I get to know about the esports labs here in Buffalo. So there are fully packed computers and console stations that you can book through the app, and then you can go spend your time, play games there with your friends. And a second, I would say walking around big thing. My favorite spot would be the pillars near the lake. So there's a beautiful lake where there's a beautiful structure with three pillars, and it's so nice and soothing there. So if you want to catch a break, want some peaceful time, I would like go there often. And living in Buffalo, the best part is that it's a border city and it's really pretty close to Niagara Falls. So whenever you want to break from the city, you can just go enjoy nature that is 30 minutes away.
Okay, well, for me as well, I have to talk about the gaming room. So, but I don't know which one Ajmi made reference to, but there is the level of gaming room for video game, and um, for me, I also enjoy going to the place. So it's not just about the study itself. So I have to be able to create a balance for myself and have the opportunity to go and do some exciting thing and then come back to my studies. So first, I usually visit the level of gaming center to play some video games, play FIFA or Mortal Kombat for those that play these games. So it's something that exists in UB. So there is also the UB gym. So there is a gym center in the North Campus and in the South Campus. And I started using it this spring semester, I didn't subscribe for the fall semester, but I had to subscribe for the spring semester, and I go to the gym occasionally. Also at the South Campus, a lot of people don't know, but there seems to be like a table tennis. There is a table tennis board somewhere in the South Campus in one of the blocks, and I sometimes go with my classmates to go and play tennis. So what usually happens is we decide to meet up at the library at the South Campus, the Abbott Library, and then we do some studies and probably take some break to go play tennis and then come back to the library. So, and that usually helps with the studies.
Okay, thank you, Henry. For me, I generally spend my time attending various startup and innovation, workshops or learning sessions. There is a startup week, generally Blackstone Launchpad arrange, and you get to learn, discuss with business leaders in particularly in Western New York region. So I generally spend my time in networking, talking with the business leaders, and I generally, try to build my uh, resume by attending or attending or taking part into various competitions. As I already mentioned that I got first prize in two competitions recently in startup bootcamp and uh, next level leadership program. So you can enhance your skills by spending your time productively. I think I would suggest you have to use these platforms. So that's for me. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I put the Level Up link and the collab link as well as the Campus Rec link in the chat for everybody. And the last question we have today is, what advice would you give to incoming students to make the most of their time in the program, both academically as well as socially outside of the program?
So if you're coming for graduate studies abroad, or if you're moving internally in the country, it is expected that you know what you want to do in the program. So I would say my advice on this would be, if you're coming to the finance program, I would suggest digging up and researching more into the world of finance and looking into different roles and see what roles or what side of business excites you. Because once you have that figured out and you have a clear trajectory of where you want to be, you can utilize the resources, the classrooms, and the project experience that you're going to get at UB's MFin program, and you can push yourself to make that trajectory of getting to the industry in that role or that side of business. Inclusion, I would say that before coming to MS Finance, do more research about what roles you want to go into, or what roles excites you, or what businesses excites you. That will help you in the long run, because when you come here, you're gonna find options. And if you want to come here and figure out your options, I would say it works, but it helps to be a little bit advanced in that. Like, you know what are your options, you know what you're going for, and you make that home run score. So I would say just do more research into finance, being more interested in the finance topics, following the markets, following the side of businesses. I would say that, yeah, you should do more research before coming.
Okay, so thank you, Ajmin. So for me, my advice, so looking at people that have already gotten admitted to UB, is to say, a lot of time I see people come in and they don't know what resources and what probably solutions that are available to them as UB students. And it's really important that you know about all of these things. So sometimes when you get your admission, there seems to be tons of mail that start coming into the boxes. I remember back then last year. So I kept receiving mails from UB. There were different conversation. You have to go on this app to do one thing. You have to go on this other app to do one thing. There was the handshake. There was this, and it was somehow overwhelming. So, but I think so. I'm a Dean student ambassador, and this semester I said I was going to write about some of the resources that students can benefit from in UB, and so it's basically trying to tell a story and say hey, when you come in, yeah, there is the classroom because you have the information about what time you're going to go to class, what time you're going to have one session or the other. But then what about the other things? For instance, some students don't know that they have access to the printers in the school, and then they are giving like credits on the printing app for them to be able to print documents. It's called the WEPA application. And then you're giving about 30 something dollars a semester that you can use and print whatever document you have. So these are some of the informations that we need to have, we need to be privy of. So when you come in, there are libraries in school, there are applications that your student account gives you license to use. There is the game center, there is the gym center, there you can book a library if you want a private room to study with with other students. So it's really something that you should be able to how would I say utilize the resources that is being given to you effectively because UB has provided all of these things. And I think the school, UB Buffalo is a very diverse institution. I enjoy every bit of it. I enjoy engaging with my classmates. Yeah. At first, I seemed like, oh, I'm the only Nigerian here initially. But as much as I'm the only Nigerian, so I think it's a very good environment for learning. Being able to interact with people from different fields just gives me that reassurance of what I'm getting in UB. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Henry. So I would suggest attend Zoom sessions, events, competition, join clubs. There are many clubs like Financial Management Club. Uh, seek guidance from professors. This is your time to grow on all fronts. So use that time for to enhance skills, to connect with the people. There are other platforms I will mention that if you have once you get the UB credentials, you can use Coursera and can do various courses and can learn various skills on Coursera. It is free for UB students. So there are also, as I already mentioned that about the newspaper subscription. So try to engage, to learn, to contribute on campus. So in conclusion, I would suggest don't underestimate the power of networking. This is very, very important. Build connections and that can last a lifetime. So I would suggest those things. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. These are all really great points that you have brought up and definitely very valuable information for our prospective students here. So we do have time, a little bit of time for one or two questions. Rebecca, was there anything in the chat that would be relevant for our panelists to answer?
Well, the first one so I've got two questions. So the first one is Wall Street and Bloomberg subscription available within the quantitative finance program, or I guess just as a UB student in general, do you have access to those subscriptions?
So I'd like to take that question. So Wall Street Journal, if you are coming to UB and you have your UB credentials, you can redeem your Wall Street Journal subscription. And that is absolutely free of charge for UB students. And for Bloomberg Journal here at the UB Jacobs School of Management, we have 10 Bloomberg terminals that you can book and work on. So let's say you have a project on equity research that you need to work on, then you have to book a Bloomberg terminal. You can go to the Bloomberg terminal, book it, 3 to 4 hours, something else you need. You can set Bloomberg terminal. So yes, these users are free. All, and I'd like to add on, if you're coming to the US and if you're moving here, Amazon Prime is free for 6 months for students. So if you use your UB email, you can also get the Amazon Prime for 6 months for free. And there are a lot of resources that, as Ajit talked, that students can avail after getting credentials. You obviously get the office suit. You'll get different courses that you can redeem. So all these things, these are included in your tuition. There's for paying for these, and obviously these are available to you once you become a student.
Great. And then the other question that was asked in the chat was in regards to the courses. Now, I understand, that being a master's level course, the courses will be challenging. But the specific question was, are the courses considered to be challenging? So can you guys just talk a little bit about how you feel the rigor of the coursework is?
Well, okay, so maybe I'll go first. So for me, I don't see that as challenging. So if probably the person was here when we started, it could they could see that we have people from diverse backgrounds. So I'm a geological scientist, and then I have Ajit who read nanotechnology, and then Ajmin coming from business finance. And then we're still able to all coexist within the finance space for the master's level. And we could relate properly. So I think the finance is relatable. It is something that is actual that one can understand. And then when we have the resources, so there is the professors, there is the material, there is the coursework, there are textbooks that basically helps one to study this and to understand it better. So I don't see the courses as challenging personally. And I believe that every person can be able to handle whatever it is that is in finance. So that's Ajit, you want to say something?
Yes. I particularly tell about the fintech because I have taken fintech track. Uh, you need to have some basic knowledge of coding. I had no coding background, but I learned after coming to UB. You have many resources, as I already told about Coursera, and you can learn from YouTube or you can ask queries to professor. If you are taking fintech track, then at least yeah, try to learn basic Python or R Studio. So I think this will help you.
I would also like to add to that, to what you said. I think the courses are challenging in particular, but I think you will be met with coursework that will challenge you. The course itself is not challenging or daunting, but there will be some rigorous coursework. There will be some learning curves in which you have to learn a particular thing. As Ajit mentioned, most of us don't with any technical knowledge, Python, R, SQL, but after coming here, we learn. And we learn it through various projects, we learn it through classes, mentorships. So it's that learning curve that you have to adjust to. There'll be new components that you need to learn. They won't be challenging, but you will be challenged with that task. So that's my take.
Thank you guys so much for addressing that question. I do have a lot of questions were submitted through the registration process. A lot of them were admissions related, so I will answer those. And if you do have any questions, you can feel free to send me an email on those. But there was one that I wanted to bring up to the panelists. So the question is, are there any specific clubs, organizations, or events within the finance department that you recommend getting involved in? Are you guys involved in any clubs or sports or organizations? We'd love to hear from you.
Yes, I personally am part of Financial Management Association, the club here at UB. When we talk about student clubs or student body organizations, we think of it more of a School of Management level. So there are also other clubs at School of Management that I'm part of that. It's called Private Equity and Venture Capital Club. There are also accounting clubs, management clubs. There's also a Graduate Management Association. So yes, if you want to if you want to be involved in clubs and if you want to be involved in extracurricular and attending those seminars, arranging these meetings, you can certainly do that. And I recommend doing that from the first semester itself. When you are here at UB, you should be out there. You should be out there networking. You should be out there connecting with you people, and you should be out there exploring the different clubs. What do they do? Attending their weekly meetings and getting to know each other, building a network within the School of Management, where on down the hall you can say 100 other persons that you know otherwise meet if you are just in the MS Finance program. So there is a lot of headroom. There's a lot of room to people get connected to people. And I think you should definitely look at student clubs and organizations.
Okay, the next question is, let's see if we have one in the chat here. Do we have a CFA community at UB? Yes, we do. And if you guys could talk a little bit about that, that would be great.
Okay, so I just responded to the question on the chat also, and I did mention that there is a CFA Society of Buffalo, and students are also being given the option to join those societies. So there is kind of a registration process for that, which I just completed my form 2 days ago, which I'm going to share with the professor tomorrow. So it exists and people can join that.
I would also like to add to what Henry said. So the current president of CFA Below is also a faculty here at UB. He's teaching us a class this semester, which is the capstone course for the MSF, which is research in equities. So you'd also get like network, meet the people. So if you are a CFA candidate and if you want to go through your certifications and maybe you want to participate on the research challenge every year that CFA published. So there are resources and there are contacts of person here. You can be part of the CFA Society Buffalo. You can also take the class, president of CFA Society Buffalo, and you can also network with other people, attend their CFA lunches and whatnot.
Great, thank you so much. Another question we had submitted, I know that many students throughout the MS Finance program have the opportunity to do an internship. So the question is, what advice would you give to students looking to secure internships?
So, well, let me take that. For me, I think it's a very important question, and I think the secret is mostly in start on time and start early. So because some of us don't know when these internship opportunities begin or when we should start applying. But I could say for sure that people that are coming in into this year, some internship opportunities have already opened for 2025. So, and you wouldn't know because you wait until fall to start your your school, and then by the time you start, you get to hear that hey, that some internship closed in May, and I was wondering, I haven't even got into school yet, and you're telling me that the internships have already closed. So I think it's good that you decide on time what you want to do. You decide that you're going to join this program in fall. And I also advise that they activate their email account on time so that some of these emails, there would be very much opportunity to get it on time. So I would say, for instance, some people are asking for what are the assistantship positions that are available. And I did remember that I didn't set up my account until I had my visa, and I got my visa in June. And it was after I got my visa in June, I got to set up my more or less started looking at some of the registrations I needed to do. And by the time I got here in August, I heard, hey, some applications, even for the assistantship, closed sometime in June or something like that. And I didn't have a visa then. So had I been informed clearly on time that I need to start making these preparations, then I'll be better much positioned to take on these actions. So my advice is take that decision. This is February. Some organizations have already started publishing summer internship for 2025, and you need to start applying on time for these programs.
Okay, thank you, Henry. I just want to mention one point that every year there is one opportunity. If you have a good social work background, you can take part in as a social impact fellow. So you can work as an intern with social work organizations situated in Western New York. So that was the point I wanted to mention.
Thank you so much. Ajme, did you want to add something?
Yes, I want to add to Henry's point that there are companies who start really early in recruiting. So they have posted their summer 2025 internships. So if you to think of getting an internship, I would say go to a target approach. Target your companies that you want to go through, and I would say apply early, but also try to build a relationship with them. Also try to ask their staff out in coffee chats and maybe in informal interviews in where you get to learn more about the organization and more about the current role they're working in. And I think that it's a long way. personal networking gets you a long way because it gets the human touch aspect of it. When you're applying through portals, most of the time it's going to be filtered by ATS. So you want that advantage over other peers, that you have a direct contact with someone in the company. With a human contact, you can get referral, they can refer you to the hiring manager, the recruiter, whatnot. So be early and try to also network within the organizations in presenting your materials, your resume to the appropriate teams at desks.
Thank you so much. And I would also like to add to that, our Career Resource Center puts on a lot of job fairs and events. They bring speakers in, they will do workshops, they'll connect you with alumni through alumni sessions, and they'll also put on networking events. So I'm going to send the job fairs and events webpage of the Career Resource Center. This is another great opportunity to connect with professionals as well. Okay, and then the final question that we will wrap up with is, are any of you involved in the Therese Kelly investment group?
Well, so I don't think the Paris Kelly investment group, it's a very small set of group and it's very competitive. So I would say that I'm not involved in it, and I think the others aren't involved in it. So I would confess, I was meant to apply for the Tyrese Kelly group, and I missed the application by 1 day, and that's what basically happens when maybe I get myself involved in a lot of things. So now I try to do better by pinning some of the chats that I want to, or some of the emails I want to revisit on my email box. But I do know that for our current track, we have 3 students in our class that are part of the Tyrese Kelly group, and so everybody is invited to apply, and they tend to do their screening, have an interview, and at the end select the people that are going to be part of the Tyrese Kelly group. But apart from being part of the Tyrese Kelly group, so I think maybe Ajwin can talk about the fact that he's taking equity research, and I'm sure that some of the things that they have to do in equity research almost gives them that same depth of knowledge and engagement that they will also get from the Tyrese Kelly investment group. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Henry. I would also like to add to that. So if you're interested in Therese Kelly investment group, it's very competitive. It's very competitive, and it's a very small group of people. So you have to be on point with your application, and you have to be timed. I would like to express that, like Henry, I also missed the deadline for applying to Therese Kelly investment group, and there was no other option for that. So if you are like plan getting into Therese Kelly, be prepared, because there's going to be one day that the application season starts, and it's going to span for quite a short time. So you have to be very quick with that, you have to be very efficient with that, and you have to be ready for it.
Thank you so much. I'm just going through the chat here to see if we had any last minute questions. I think we are all set. Thank you guys so much for your time today. We really appreciate you talking about your personal experience within the program. It is really, really valuable to all of our students. And thanks for taking the time out of your day. Everyone else, if you have any other questions, please feel free to send me an email and I will address those for you. I can also reach out to our student panelists if you have any more specific questions for them. So send me an email, and thank you all for joining us today. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.